Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the African Wahala. Thanks for coming through on this beautiful day to join me in this African conversation. On the African Wahala platform, we talk about different issues affecting us African people, from especially the political aspect. Then we talk about social issues, cultural issues, religion, tradition. In this particular video, we're going to be touching on some cultural issues that we have. I really don't get it why a lot of us, I'm not blaming anybody, but a lot of us, the people of Africa across the continent, we love subjugating one another. Why do we do that? Now, the picture that you have on the screen is a lady with two other ladies. The lady standing on the right side, she is the Speaker of the Parliament in Uganda. This is her. The Ugandan Speaker of the Parliament. Now, the other two women kneeling down in front of this woman. This one here on the left, she is a politician. She is an MP, a member of the Parliament somewhere in Uganda. And the other woman, this is a woman, by the way, she is a citizen in Uganda whose daughter was a migrant worker in Saudi Arabia, and she died in the process. You see, we all know that a lot of African people migrate all over the world. Now, in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, where the World Cup is currently hosted, Lebanon, UAE, United Arab Emirates. You have African workers in all those countries hustling, trying to survive, because a lot of their countries are quite messed up and they are looking for greener pastures. That's the bottom line. Now, we Africans in these Middle Eastern countries, for the most part, we are treated like crap, absolute trash. That's how we're treated. You go there, the women work as domestic workers in private houses of these people. The wealthy Saudi people, the Arabic people, they sometimes try to, the women, the African women, they try to, sleep with them. They try to manipulate them. They often get physically violent with them. And many of them get killed. Surprising statistics, thousands of African migrant workers in the Middle East lose their lives on a daily basis. Well, not on a daily basis, but they have lost their lives over time. Thousands. So before we go into this conversation, I want you to listen to what the foreign minister in Kenya had to say about migrant workers in Saudi Arabia that have lost their lives due to violence. Check this out. So this is the foreign minister. As you can see, Republic of Kenya, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And this is what the minister had to say in a recent interview about those Kenyans that go out there and lose their lives to the violence.
So sometimes our people will not be so subservient. And when they go to these countries and they're under contract, in a country like in Saudi Arabia, their traditions around housework are very ancient, let's put it that way. So you find that the people who suffer the terrible beatings, the people who suffer abuse, are usually people who are of that category, house helps. But in that same country where we have over 100,000 Kenyans working in different capacities in hotels, in transport, in taxis, we have no problem. So we have to ask ourselves, are we exporting the right category of personnel?
Now, the statement in itself is utterly disgusting, right? This guy is talking about, are we exporting the right category of people to work in subservient roles in Middle Eastern countries? You also need to understand that this same foreign minister, Kenyan foreign minister, I have to put that guy on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. The Kenyan foreign minister was berating the Kenyans that find themselves being harmed in Saudi Arabia homes because they are domestic workers. And he said they are often not subservient. That's why they get treated the way they get treated, which is completely insane. If these are the types of people that represent us, okay, they expect us to be subservient. They expect us to be treated like crap. That's what they expect. If Kenya in the first place was a good enough country for the people, there shouldn't have been a need for them to have to travel to the Middle Eastern countries to work as house helps, domestic workers, where they are vulnerable. Now, when these African migrants, not just Kenyans and Ethiopians and Ugandans, including Nigerians, tons of cases in Qatar, in Oman, in Lebanon, when they get in some sort of mess, because they get to those countries, their masters seize their international passports. They can't return to their embassy to say, oh, my master just took my passport. They can't do that. Even if they get to their embassies, for the most part, the embassy wouldn't do anything about it. But if the politicians are expecting you to be subservient and they expect you to be transported, to be exported, to become domestic workers in foreign countries, meanwhile, these politicians, they are multi-billionaires. Their children school in America, in the UK, in great universities across the world. They don't have these problems. But you, the regular people, you're supposed to be exported to those countries and be subservient to your masters. That's what the politicians are telling you. And that's exactly what happened in this photo. I have to share that photo one more time. Like I said, this lady, she is the Speaker of the House of Parliament in Uganda. The lady on the right side, kneeling before her, she is also a politician, a member of parliament somewhere in Uganda. And the third lady, she is a recipient of $3,400 that was given to her by the Speaker of the House of Parliament to repatriate this poor citizen's dead daughter from Saudi Arabia. So this poor citizen, her daughter, went to Saudi Arabia to work as a domestic worker, and she lost her life in the process. Because like I said, a lot of Africans get treated like absolute crap. They meet all types of violent, quote unquote, masters in those countries. They have no embassies to go to report their situation, and they are left to fend for themselves. Now, I'm going to give this lady a little bit of a respect. I'm talking about the other politician also kneeling before the Speaker of the House of Parliament, because she was able to secure the money using her influence from the Speaker of the Parliament. But now, let's go into some other details, because that's what we do on the African Wahala. You see, a lot of these politicians, they are just disgusting, plain disgusting. I just showed you guys what the Kenyan foreign minister said that is expected of his citizens that travel to the Middle Eastern countries. They are supposed to be subservient. Basically, they're supposed to be slaves. And there is nobody to fight for them. That is the pain of the African. That's what we go through. Why do we go through this? Now, a lot of you guys might say, man, these Arab people, they don't like us. Man, these Chinese people, they don't like us. These white people don't like us. You know what I believe? That might be the case to a large extent. Yeah, they don't like you, but why should anybody like you? You're supposed to treat yourself with the highest level of dignity so that people can respect you. But if we are not even treated with dignity by our politicians, the people in control of our countries, they treat us like absolute crap. Why would anybody else treat us with respect? Why would they? You don't find Arabs coming to Kenya or Uganda working as domestic workers. If they face any type of problems, their embassies would stand for them. Is that the same thing that happens when the role is reversed? Absolutely no. The Speaker of the House of Parliament in Kenya, in Uganda, the lady standing that I just showed you, this one, the lady standing, feeling like a boss. You know, she's the boss queen. She just handed out $3,400 to a poor Ugandan citizen to bring back her dead daughter from Saudi Arabia. That's what she just did. So she's a hero in her eyes. She's a hero. This same greedy lady, this greedy House of Parliament Speaker, this is her name. This is her. Her name is Annette Among. She definitely has a lot of controversial issues surrounding her. This is one of them. The Ugandan Parliament Speaker, Annette Among, gifts her husband a 22 million shilling car. Now, I'm not sure what the conversion of 22 million shilling is, but I read a little bit on that story, and it's basically one of the latest models of a Range Rover sport vehicle. So I would assume that vehicle would be at least $150,000. Now, let's keep in mind that this is one of the poorest countries in the world. How is a politician able to gift her husband a vehicle that is valued over $150,000? Well, we all know the answer to that. It's a rhetorical question. They are rogues. These people are thieves. That's how they're able to get that money. Period. And she's smart enough, because that's what we say in Africa. If you're corrupt, you are smart. Well, I shouldn't say in Africa. That's what we say in Nigeria. Maybe that's not what they say in Uganda and Kenya, but in Nigeria, that's what we say. If you are corrupt and you don't get caught, you are smart. I'm going to say it in Yoruba. Something like that. So this lady, she has aligned with the NRM. The NRM is the political party of Museveni, the president. Remember, Museveni has been the president of Uganda since 1986 and has completely ruined the country. Completely. Destroyed every aspect of everything good about Uganda. Uganda is a beautiful country. The natural landscape, they have some of the most pristine wildlife that you can find in the entire world. The last sanctuaries for silverback gorillas. You go to Uganda, that's where you find them. Congo has been decimated by war, a huge part of Congo. So a lot of those natural wildlife has been destroyed over the years. But in Uganda, they still have a lot of that stuff. The only problem is they have a tyrant criminal president that has been there for 37 years or 36 years. Destroyed the country, made the people poor as hell. But the politicians in his political party, the NRM, they are all billionaires. They are swimming in money. They can gift their husbands vehicles valued at $150,000 in an extremely poor country. That is the African wahala for you, 100%. And you know what's surprising? This lady that gifted her husband $150,000 worth a Range Rover that is valued at $150,000. Yeah? She is the third wife to the husband. The husband is a politician too. He is actually the president of the Ugandan Football Federation. That's what he is. The husband of the Speaker of the House of the Parliament in Uganda. Her husband is the president of the Ugandan Football Federation. Now you can understand why Uganda can never, ever, ever win any tournament in football. Because they have a rogue in charge of their football ministry. His third wife is the Speaker of the House of the Parliamentary gives her lots of money, gives him lots of money. They share lots of money amongst themselves because they are with the NRN. They are with Museveni's party. That's how it works. If you can align with the rogues that destroy the country as a politician, you are smart. That is the mentality. And it's just quite unfortunate that we, the people, we have to bear the brunt of this whole mess, having to be subservient, subjugated. The politicians even let you know that, listen, you need to be subservient, okay? You need to be subjugated. Otherwise, you are not a respected person. Listen to what the foreign minister of Kenya had to say once again about Kenyan migrant workers that are losing their lives in the Middle East. Listen to what he had to say. This is Kenya. I know I'm mixing it up. I've talked about Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria, but this is the African Wahala. That's what we do.
And you've heard me speak about this in public. I have said that there are some places where culturally unyenyekevu ule ambao unahitajika kazi zingine za nyumbani sio unyenyekevu ambao unapatikana sana kati ya watu wetu. So sometimes our people will not be so subservient. And when they go to these countries and they're under contract, in a country like
I'm sure you heard enough. Our people cannot be subservient. But a lot of you people, you like these politicians. And let's keep it real. It's not only the politicians that are this way. Even the regular citizens, once you make a little bit of money, well, I can speak for the Nigerian space. Once you make a lot of money, then you feel like you're the king. Oh man, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? That's what we do. Bragging, trying to belittle everybody, trying to make people kneel down before you render some help. Look at this. A politician trying to spreading a photo across the entire internet, showcasing her citizen in a posturing position, kneeling before her so she feels like a god. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys this morning. We need to change our ways, and we need to completely feel disgusted. If you're one of such people that you like feeling big about yourself because you have a little bit of money, you want to be treated like a god just because you have some change. Stop that stuff. You look ridiculous. You can never be respected. I understand misery needs company. I understand. So miserable people, they want to make other people miserable so they feel good about themselves. Completely understood. And if you're one of such people, you are a disgrace. Stop it. Okay, that's what you need to do. Let me go to the comment section real quick before rounding up this conversation. My beautiful sister Vivian V. Hello, African Wahala. Good, I could catch a broadcast. Thank you so much, Vivian. It's been a while. I haven't seen you in a long time. I appreciate you coming through. Thank you. And she also says here, the Kenyan minister literally blamed the vulnerable victims. Exactly. That's what they do. These leaders are the cause of the African brain drain to start with. Absolutely disgusting of him, blaming those who flee for a better life. Thank you so much, Vivian. You said it all. You pretty much summarized my point of view in this broadcast. That's awesome. That's what you did. Typical God mentality amongst a lot of these African people in position of power. Not just the people in position of power, even the regular people. Don't be surprised. Listen, in Nigeria, even poor people, poverty-stricken people that have just a little bit of power, come see how they behave. A security guard, a gate man, that's what we call them. A gate man that is actually a poverty-stricken person. Come see how he behaves when he has the opportunity to put you down, to bring you down. Who you be, who you define, come up for here. That's how we are. But a lot of people say our leaders are a reflection of our society. To a large extent, that's true. And that's why, even though these leaders are complete rogues, complete criminals, fraudsters that need to be thrown in prison. Criminals in poverty-stricken countries, they are able to purchase vehicles valued at $150,000 as gifts for their friends and family in a poverty-stricken country. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. Anyways, let me go finish through the comment section. Typical God mentality among a lot of these African people in positions of power. That's why I can never address anyone not biologically related as mommy or daddy like it's expected to address our elders. Thank you. That is the mental revolution right there. That's what they expected of this woman. This poor Kenyan woman, Ugandan woman, she probably was calling this greedy criminal. Oh, thank you, mommy. Mommy, thank you for giving me money that I can use to bring my dead daughter in Saudi Arabia back to Uganda after she fled Uganda in the first place to Saudi Arabia for a better life because you rogues ruined the country. Yeah. Thank you, Vivian. Dropping some solid comments. Anyways, and that's it for today. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Vivian V. Thank you, Candy Kisei in the middle of Ghana football. Aish. It is what it is. Thank you for coming through on the African Wahala on this beautiful day. Have a great day and make sure you stop subjugating other people because it makes you look ridiculous. It actually makes us make more fun of you. And at the end of the day, when we can hold you accountable, we would. We actually will. Peace.